Hello everybody, and welcome to Shady Entertaining, guys. Today I want to do something a little bit different. Today I'm doing a brand new segment that I'm calling The Things That Made Me. It's a working title, I don't know. I may change it down the line if I don't like it, but if you guys have an idea for the title, please tell me in the comments. I'd love to hear it, because I'm not very good at the title sort of things, and Shady Entertaining is a good example of that. Anyway, what are the things that made me? What does that mean? What that means to me is, I want to talk about, in this segment, things that made me the well-adjusted, loving, crazy subspecies of a human that I am today. Does that mean he's an alien? Well, maybe. I could be a transformer. Huh? No. I'm all human, man. Unless you've heard otherwise, I'm all human. Yeah, so today I want to talk about most favorite topics, and that's the Transformer.
Robots in disguise.
We all had these little things when we were kids. Remember when we were kids, we used to hear things differently? You know, like I used to run around saying, Mommy, I'm buck naked. I'm buck naked. And she's like, that's naked, dear. And put on some pants. No, I'm naked. You know, you hear things differently when you're a kid. Naked's M's or N's and stuff. I remember I had this huge argument with my cousin about, he used to say, it's not robots in disguise, it's robot in disguise. No, it's in disguise. That's why they transform. It's disguising. No, it's not that. It's because they fly, you know, like they fly through the air. But Autobots don't fly, only Decepticons fly. Some Autobots fly. Those are the arguments I had when I was in grade 2. I also remember I had an argument, a real stupid argument, about Michael Jackson's lyric to Billie Jean. It was like, Billie Jean is not my lover. She's just a girl who said that I am the one. But the chair is not my son. No, chair? My cousin used to say, it was chair. I don't know what the hell it is. She used to say things and hear things differently than everybody else. But she said she could have sworn her life that Michael Jackson's lyric was, the chair is not my son. And I'm like, no, it's the kid. And what sense does it make for Michael Jackson to have a son that's a chair? She just kept arguing with me. No, it's a chair. To the point where I had to pull out the album cover and just read the lyrics on the back of the album. Remember they used to do that, guys? They had that lyrics in the album sleeve of the sleeve of the album cover. Anyway, I digress. I'm transforming this whole thing into something else. Super Joe. Yeah, so I want to talk about today is the Transformers universe in particular. And I will probably unbox a couple of these Transformers while I'm doing it. Isn't this a cool pose? I'm like Naruto running. There's the Grimlock and there's the Hot Rod, and I'm running like Naruto through the forest. It's already off the rails, guys. Feel free to hit stop at any time. I had a guy comment and he said, I couldn't get past 55 seconds of your videos, and I'm like, it's hard for me to blame you. Another guy that I started talking to online, he says that I act like a cartoon character, which I took to be a compliment. So the Transformers growing up was a very important influence in my life. I think that's what I'm going to call it, the things that influenced me. That's a good name, guys. Things that influenced me. You tell me what you think. You like that? Should I go with the things that influenced me? The series that influenced me? The shows? I don't know. I remember I was in grade 2, 1983, 1984. Skullbots were the thing. We used to take these tiny little toys that transformed from, you know, the first Transformer-like things that used to transform from like a motorcycle or a jet plane to a little tiny little robot, but without very much details, very, very rudimentary sort of looking, and you know, it kind of looked like a robot. It had like a weird sticker face as opposed to like detailed faces for the most part. There was some that actually had nice faces. I think the Jet had a nice face. I don't remember. I don't have any of those GoBots. I wish I still did, but I don't. I don't have them anymore, as my mom liked to toss away all my toys and give them to Goodwill. Yeah, and I remember when my friend first brought the Transformers to school. And at the time, and when we were in grade 2, that was the thing you did. You brought your toys to school and you showed off. I'm more richer than you. Look at my big toy. I had a little GoBot and I'm like playing with it, and this guy brings this big Transformer and I'm like, wait a minute. This thingy is bigger than my thingy. It still happens to this day. Only the other way around. I remember at this time, and I saw him with this Transformer, and it was like this My Little GoBot and I think it was Optimus Prime, and he had this big truck that transformed into a bigger robot, and I was just like, my jaw went, I want that! You know? Your kids are like, I want that too! Why do I like mine so small? And I remember I fell in love instantly with it. Whoa, what is that thing right there? I want to know everything about it. My life has to be about that. That red truck that transforms. That's what my life's about now. Forget all my hopes and aspirations. That's what my life is. And yeah, still is. My first love was the Transformers. And she's been a seductive bitch ever since. She's been toying with my heart, breaking it here and there, giving me some good moments, and then giving me some really, really horrible moments. It's the succubus of my life. And I'll tell you a little bit more why I believe the Transformers was a horrible succubus. That I just couldn't say no to, and still cannot. And so I started collecting Transformers. Prowl, I think you could see him over there. He was one of my first Transformers. I have the story of how I got him in my other video that I have an unboxing of. So if you want to check that out, check that out. I made it my goal to want to collect as many of those Transformers as I possibly can. Then when the show came out, oh baby! Joygasm! I know, okay, now you go back and a lot of people think the old cartoon is cheesy, but to be honest with you, they don't actually make cartoons like that anymore. They don't make, the way it was animated, they actually took the time. If you notice in the Transformers cartoon, they actually took the time to animate the way the Transformers actually transformed. You know, you see the modern Transformers now, cartoons, and they don't. It's just like this really sloppily thing that just almost doesn't make sense. Even in the movie, it doesn't even make sense. Optimus Prime's rotors are turning here and everything's turning, you know, and nothing makes sense, and it doesn't make sense the way it would transform from the robot to toy. That doesn't translate, but in the cartoon, they actually took the time to transform it properly the way it would be in the toy, although not all the toys looked alike. That's the big problem with that. But for the most part, you know, Optimus Prime, they showed him transform with his arms back, you know, head spinning around. They always show the twisting, and it was very thoroughly animated, I think. I mean, there was some issues with the colors. Sometimes Starscream would be blue, but maybe he was just sick at the time. And then the next scene, he'd be red again. You know, sometimes it was no colors. Some, you know, but you know, it was a cartoon. They had, I think, a few hundred episodes or something, 90 episodes. For just 3 seasons. They had to do a lot of animation really fast. Think about that, 90 episodes in 3 years. That's a lot of episodes to just cram into 3 years. But yeah, so the Transformers came out, and it was just a thing, man. I was just like, come home. I had my friends calling me, Shane, you want to come out with us and go throw some rocks in the pond? And, you know, and I'm like, no, man, what are you talking about? I gotta watch some Transformers here. I got no time to play with you kids. That's right, 80's kids were all riding bikes, except for me. I was at home watching Transformers, not listening, eating my ketchup and mustard sandwiches.
Transformers, more than meets the eyes.
Autobots, transform and roll out. You know, so that's how I grew to like the Transformers, and the appeal for me was that when you're a kid, you loved cars, especially in the 80s. Cars and trucks, you used to collect every truck and every car. Hot Wheels was a big deal. Matchbox was a big deal. To have one of those Matchbox cars also transformed to become a robot. It was amazing, man. It was like something you never seen. 2 toys, 1 toy is now 2 toys. It's just crazy. It's like Christmas every day in your toy box. You know, and it was fun. Now they were kind of rigid. They didn't move a lot. Their transformations the toys were very fragile. They break a lot. And I broke a lot of toys. You know, which is why it's very hard to find things that are in perfect condition that aren't in a box. And the things, they had character. One thing I did like about the cartoon is even though it was a simple character show and it didn't really, you'd be like, well, it was just bad guy versus good guy. Decepticon's whole motivation was to be evil and collect energon, and then, well, it was kind of had a little meaning. I mean, a lot of people said they had no meaning at all, but the Transformers cartoon was about the Decepticons foreign to the planet, didn't care about human beings because we were a lower form of life to them, and they didn't give a crap. All they wanted was to get back to where they ruled, which was Cybertron. And they didn't care if they sucked the planet dry of energy. You know, and every time they sucked energy out of the core of the Earth or the atmosphere or whatever, some really bad catastrophic things happened to the planet, right? Such as the weather would go all wonky and shit. They'd open up portals through time and dinosaurs would come through and be all crazy. You know, there's a lot of weird things, and not unlike what we're seeing today, you know? And if you really analyze it, the stuff that they talked about then is still relatable for today. I mean, talk about fracking and all the stuff that they take energy and they pollute the earth and all that stuff. It's still very relevant today. And they say, well, it was about nothing. It was about something. It was about the Decepticons who were just kind of was representative of corporate evil douchebags who would just suck the planet dry without any remorse or care because they didn't give a shit. They didn't care. They thought that we were just lesser beings anyway. And when the Autobots were different, right? The Autobots were the ones that were like, we're the ones responsible for the Decepticons. We have to protect the Earth at all costs, even at our own expense, which was a really good message, kids, about sacrifice and the whole thing about with great power comes responsibility. Yes, why should we care about these lesser being human beings? But we do, because we are the good guys, and good guys take care of the weak, because that's what it was about, taking care of the weak, because we can. They stopped Megatron wherever they could, and that was the whole thing. Was that Megatron's desire was to go back to Cybertron to become the ruler of the world, universe. There, he could care less about our planet. He wanted to suck it dry, and that was a really decent message. I mean, even today, it's like I said, it still holds up, that message. So to say it was about nothing is not true. And a lot of people say, oh, it was just a bunch of two factions fighting each other with laser beams and transforming and whatnot. Not true, man. It's disingenuous. Stop spreading that lie. So it was about something. I mean, were they deep stories? Not particularly. There was a few decent stories, but for the most part, it wasn't very deep. There was always positive messages at the end of every cartoon. And I liked the language. The language wasn't, they didn't dumb down the language. I mean, I learned a lot of really important words, like, well, transform was probably one of my longest words I knew when I was that young. They used to be insolent fool. Learning words like insolent. I mean, now you hear boop ba doo doo boop beep boop cartoons that are, SpongeBob, hey, Squidward, like very odd cartoons sounding and very loud and annoying and obnoxious. Hey, SpongeBob. Hey, Squidward. They dumb down cartoons nowadays as opposed to back in the old days. I mean, yeah, they were for kids, and they were for the same age group or younger, and they had a pretty solid vocabulary in those cartoons, and so I think that was another positive thing. Were they extremely violent? Yes, they were. They tossed a lot of people like they were trash. They used to toss people in the air and just transform, and they'd land all perfect in that cockpit. And you're like, people were rag dolls in those days. Nobody had bones in the 80s. Everyone was made of a soft gelatin. So, I mean, to say that those cartoons had no storyline, it's not true. They were actually very good stories, especially the first season. The thing that I loved about the Transformers was that they always gave you new toys. They always gave you something new. There was always, like, now you see the Transformers and they stick to, they're so lazy now. They want to stick to the same 3 or 4 Transformers, and I think it's for laziness. They don't want to animate all these different things. But in those days, they said, oh yeah, but it's to sell toys. But as a kid, you didn't care about that stuff. You didn't care about the cynicalness of the selling toys to kids. You didn't care about all that stuff. All you cared about was what's coming out next. What's new? I want another one. I want another one. It was almost addictive. You wanted new Transformers. You wanted something new every day, and they kept giving you new Transformers all the time. That's what I loved, was who's going to be new now? Oh, they're going to have the Dinobots. Oh, the Dinobots are here. Tracks. Oh, now there's a blue Corvette that flies. Superion, the jets that transform into one giant robot. All these things that came out it was like Christmas every time a new Transformer was introduced, right? And nowadays, it's not like that. Now they just give you like 4 Transformers that they might give you one in different episodes here and there, but they don't stick together like they did, where you had a nice lineup of toys that you played with. And that was really wonderful when you were a kid. Until the great destruction of 1986, the Transformers movie. The thing that traumatized many kids was the Great Transformers movie. All right, before I get into the Great Transformers movie, I want to talk about the Dinobots. And the Dinobots were pretty much everybody's favorite toy. And in the 80s, everybody loved Dinobots. Everyone just loved dinosaurs. There's something mysterious about dinosaurs we all like. I don't know, maybe because we don't have them anymore. I don't know. There's some fascination with dinosaurs. Now, the story of how the dinosaurs became isn't a very good one. They're in a museum and they see these bones, and then, Wheeljack says, I think I can make these things into robots, and then Optimus says, that's a good idea, why don't you do that? I always wondered, if you could make Dinobots, why don't you just make a whole army and defeat, Megatron, just make everything into robots and just control them. Certain aspects of the show that were good, certain aspects were just were not so good. But that's with everything. So, I took out my Transformer. I just unboxed it off the camera and you didn't even see it. So, what happened was, I'm talking and I completely forgot to unbox. So, this is how it would have looked like had I done it. That's what it would have looked like. You guys are like, oh, why didn't you wait for us to do it? Impatient, man. Christmas. This is a recreation of Grimlock. I had already opened it, as you can see, because there's instructions are over there. And so now I'm just going to recreate my opening. Yeah, it's a new product called Power of the Primes. It's probably the best looking recreation of Grimlock that hit the toy shelves in a while. I know they had a couple of other ones, but I really like this one. It's not perfect. It ain't perfect. It doesn't have the wings, but all of them had the wings that when in the Autobot form. But that's okay. He looks pretty cool either way. That rhymes. Yeah, so there you go. This is the new Grimlock.
Me, Grimlock, no like being in cellophane. Me, Grimlock, like being out in public. Me, no want be in shelf long time. Me, Grimlock, strongest of Dinobots.
I love Grimlock. He was one of my favorites. He was cool. He was funny. He didn't take shit from no one. He got challenged Optimus Prime every chance he got. Everyone was intimidated by Megatron except for Grimlock.
Me, Grimlock, make you into mincemeat. Me turn you into scrap metal.
He was just awesome. And his vocabulary was spot on. You go and pretend you were Grimlock when you were a kid, you know, in school. The teacher would be,
me say no want do homework. Me say too smart for stupid math.
oh my lord, what cartoons are you guys watching? Get in the hallway. One of the reasons I felt also a kinship with the Transformers is when I was in grade 2. I had a teacher called Madame Christiane. She was my French teacher. Oui, je peux parler un petit peu de français. That's right, I'm Canadian, guys, so you gotta learn all the languages and such. I remember being called a robot when I was a kid. You know, a lot of notes to my parents calling me Le Bionic Bouche. Bionic mouth. My teachers called me. I wonder why. Just shows you haven't changed very much.
Me say don't like French. Unless it's French kissing.
So it was a quick little unboxing that I did. I hate all these little ties. Oh, it does have wings. Oh, would you look at that? But they're like on the bottom. I didn't think they had wings. Chainward scissor hands. You put too much of these tags on these things, man. Too much. Now this Transformer apparently is part of, it actually transforms into a large robot, which the original, this one actually combines to form the center of a much larger robot, which the originals did not. And I think they included a new one, which is a Raptor in the series, which are really cool. If I actually had this, it's kind of what I wish the Dinobots was when I was a kid, because they were extremely powerful, but to actually transform into a giant, you know, robot that would have made them unstoppable. I think that would have been just the sickest thing ever if they did. But they didn't, alas. And he does have wings. Look, see, I didn't think he had wings, but because I couldn't see it from the box. They're not as big as the original wings. The original wings came out to here, but they still have them, so that's cool.
Me, Grimlock have wings. Me, Grimlock no like video about Grimlock.
Unboxing number 1, guys. I'm gonna put him right here for now. I have another unboxing to go.
Transformers, more than meets the eye. Autobots blaze